Well, welcome back to Life Journey Production Studios. My name is Keith, and in this video, we're going to take a look at the media players for the ATEM Mini, Mini Pro, Mini Pro ISO, as well as the Extreme models. What are the differences between those media players, between those two devices levels? Obviously, four input devices as well as 8 input devices. And this includes the SDI versions of both the ATEM Mini Line and the Extreme Line. We're going to look at the media player. We're going to look at the different features on the media player and the different places that you can access it through software. An app I want to talk about available for iOS, as well as how you can access it through the devices themselves on your desktop. So let's jump to a 2-box layout here, and you can see the control software right there next to me. Now, obviously, if you want to get into the media player, you can do it a number of ways. Now with the updated control software, you have 4 folders up here on the top right. There used to only be 3. Now I can choose between the media player and HyperDeck. They used to be on the same screen, but now they are in different folders. So the media players, you can see you have 2, because I'm in a Extreme ISO. You can see it up here at the very top, that this is the ATEM Mini Extreme. Now I can also connect to my Pro, go down here under File, go under File to Connections, and you can see I have 3 ATEM Minis on my network, and I can access all of them from any laptop or computer on my network. And so if I want to go to the Pro, I'll click on it. You can watch the screen is going to change now. And now I have 4 inputs. I still have the 4 folders over here. Here's access to 1 media player, because the difference between the ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro ISO is 1 media player. And then obviously the inputs and the keys and all that change as well. But when you get up to the Extreme models, you have 2 media players. And that's really important, because we're going to talk about how to use those as well as how to access them. So we know we can access them from up here, the ATEM Mini Pro. You can also go to the bottom down there in the control software, and you can access it in these folders as well. You have switcher, media player, audio page, and camera page, and these are going to change depending on if you're using an ATEM Mini, Mini Pro, Mini Pro ISO. Those will all be the same, showing 4 inputs. They're going to show black, they're going to show color 1, color 2, bars, and 1 media player. So here's where you can switch what's live. You can also transition from, for instance, you can transition from camera 3 right here to a media player down here and hit transition. So you can transition between your media player. You can add it to a key. So if you go up under palettes, you can assign it to Upstream key. So I can click on media player here, as well as other inputs I could put under my key. I can do that under Luma, Chroma, Pattern, and DVE, and then downstream keys. And again, upstream keys are left of the transition bar. Downstream keys are right downstream of the transition bar. And so I can go into downstream keys right here. So you have upstream keys right here under palette menu, and you have downstream keys right here under downstream key menu. And then I can assign that to any one of the inputs, as well as color bars, color 1, color 2, and then I can assign that. So right now it's assigned to media player 1. So I can bring media player 1 in my ATEM on the air by clicking the on the air downstream button now and the upstream button. So I can control what's coming into my upstream key, downstream key, and I can choose my media player. But there's only 1 media player inside ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, and ATEM Mini Pro ISO. So again, I can switch to them. These are the options: 4 inputs, black, color 1, color 2, bars, and media player, and that's true at the bottom as well. So that's what it looks like when you're in the ATEM Mini Pro, and that's what it looks like when you're in the media player. Now, from the switcher screen, now let's go down to this bottom media player. And now you can see on the left-hand side, because I've logged into this from my laptop, I have access to every hard drive on my laptop. I have a preview screen of JPEGs available on my laptop. I have 20 still images available. That's exactly the same so far that would be on an Extreme. But the difference is on a Extreme, you're going to have 2 of these media players. And whatever I have over here, I can bring on the air. I can click on my travel drive, click on a preview of this graphic, I can drag it from the list up here and bring it over like that. I can also drag it from here and bring it over from the preview screen and drop it in like that. Now, if I wanted to make that particular graphic live and I can have 20 of them, I need to drag it over into the media player. So I can make it live right there. I can go back to the switcher and see that's called Blue Dog TV. And go back to the switcher up here to media player, and I can click on the downward menu here. I'm looking for Blue Dog TV. And now I'm going to click on it. And if I go into the media player, there's Blue Dog TV. But what if I wanted to go back to Life Journey's lower third? I can go up to the switcher, find Life Journey's lower thirds, and now I've activated it there, and it's live right here. So if you want to stay on the switcher screen and change things in your media player, you can do it right here. There's only one media player in the ATEM Mini Pro line. That's the ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, and ATEM Mini Pro ISO. They have 4 inputs, which you can see up there. That's the live section. This is the preview section. And then you can see the choices that you have next to it also to make live or preview. And you can transition from those right down here in the transition section. So I can do an auto transition. I can do a cut transition, which automatically goes, and I can change the duration of the transitions right here. So now let's go over to the media player. So you have a preview box. You can access any one of your hard drives right here. And I could bring these still images in as well. So I can switch hard drives. And if I had another PC on my network and I needed a still image from it, I could just go to that PC, open up the control software if I've downloaded it on that PC, and then I would be able to access that still image and bring it in to the media pool right from that other device, and I could include it in my show from this. So let's go over to my PC now, and I'm going to open up ATEM control software from my PC. I'm going to go into my ATEM Mini Pro, connect to it. Now I'm connected to it twice. I'm going to open up the media pool, and there's a bunch of graphics in here, just exactly like what you're seeing. And we see that slot 5 is empty. So let's see if I can add anything from slot 5, and you guys would be able to see it on air. There you go. So I just added from my PC, JPEG from my PC over into the control software in the media pool, why I'm actually accessing it from my laptop. So it automatically populates wherever you are. So I could be remotely controlling a live stream from a separate room in my house. And if someone else had the control software in the main studio, they would be able to see a still image that I just added from another device. And I applaud Blackmagic Design for that network capability. Okay, so now we're going to go up to File, the very top left. We're going to go to Connections. And now let's go into my Extreme ISO #1. You can see I have 2 here in the studio. We're going to go to #1. We're going to click Connect. Now we're going to show you the difference between the media player in a Extreme and a media player in a Mini. Same features, same ability to go to multiple PCs and access an Extreme and add logos, add graphics to it in the media player. But you can see right here, now I have 2 media players. So if I go to the switcher, if I hit off the air, the graphic goes off the air because I have my first upstream key assigned to media player 1. But now let's go to one of my downstream keys right here. And you can see I only have one icon under palettes, but if I click on it, got downstream key 1 and downstream key 2. Downstream key 1 is assigned to media player 1. So let's go down to downstream key, and we're going to assign it to media player 2. So now if I bring that on the air, the graphic covers the whole screen. And if I turn the logo off, it covers just that. So let's turn it off on the upstream key, but let's turn it on in the downstream key. So I can assign a number of keys to that graphic, and I have lots of keys in a Extreme. In a ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, I have one upstream key and one downstream key. the Upstream key obviously can do more than just one thing. Let's close the downstream keys right here. And if you look at Upstream key, it has Luma, Chroma, Pattern, and DVE. Luma is basically black and white logos, simple logos like I have down there. Chroma is for green screen. You can see the little green right here. And then you have Pattern, and I could put myself in any one of these little icons. So let's turn the Upstream key 1 on. There I am in one of those little boxes. So that's one way to use Pattern. DVE is picture in picture. So if I brought my camera 3 into here and then brought this on the air, Upstream key 1, now you can see that I have that camera, that downward desk facing camera in a window. I can size that, and then I could bring this anywhere, picture in picture on the screen. And you do have picture in picture on the ATEM Mini Pro ISO. So you can do this if you have one of those. You cannot do super source like I have right now. That is not available for you on a ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO super source, which is I'm displaying right now on the screen. And that could be 3 boxes. That could also be 4 boxes if I put a 4 box on the screen. And that is a real cool feature that you have in the Extreme. So the big difference in the media player for a Extreme ISO, the SDI models, is that you have 2 media players and you can make those both available to you. And then if you go to the switcher screen, you can access those up here under the media player. And now you have 2 of those. So I could change the background behind me right now by choosing different backgrounds right from here. I could then go back into the media player at the bottom and drag and drop the background I want and fix it. I could do the same thing to the logo section, go into the switchers, choose media player 1, and that's going to cover the whole screen now. So there you go. I have that graphic over the whole screen. If I turn that off, I'm back again. And so then I have to go in there, bring my logo back into player 1, and then go back and turn the logo on right below me. And so I can access the media players through the switcher screen, and there's 2 of them now in the Extreme, only 1 of these if I'm in a ATEM Mini Pro ISO. So also, I can bring graphics in the same way here. So if I wanted this graphic that tells you all about a gentleman named Adam Tao, if I wanted to bring that on the screen, here is a slide. He made MixEffect, an app I absolutely love, and I'm going to show you that app as well, which is another way that you could access through an ISO app for an iPhone or an iPad. You would be able to control your media player from that device as well. And so if you look at that real quickly, there is MixEffect right here. And I can show you my iPad right here on the screen. I'm tethered so I can display it in that box right down there, but I wanted you to see it on my iPad. So I could untether and you would lose your picture, and then I could go anywhere in the room and I could control it. So that's my macros. But if I click right here, I have access to my media players. So I can control those 2 media players from this app as well. So that gives me in my studio a remote ability to control it. And not just the media players, I can control my switcher. I can control things like Super Source, all from the app that Adam Tao made. And I can even go into my macros and change what you see on the screen and go back to me and the logo. Tap that so you can see this in a bigger image. So I love the fact that I have the ability to use this app to access my media player. I have the ability to get to it right here. And it also shows me that they're live by a little red icon right here and a little red loop right here. So you can tell those are live. The other thing I wanted to show you is we're going to go into this view right here. There we go. So now you can see on my desktop, move my mic out of the way, I have the access to the still image right here, and I could cut to that. I'm not live from my ATEM, but this is actually an input. Black is an input as well. And I could cut from channel 2. If I have it set up for cut bus, it would automatically, if I tapped on it, it would cut to that. But I'm in preview program mode, and so I can transition to those so I can cut. Now the still image is live and channel 2 is not. I could do a soft transition, and now it dissolves between the two of those. I can go back again. So I can access my still image there. I can turn my key on and off right here. So if I had it assigned to that key, I could turn it on here and bring it on the air, but I can also cut to a still image. So let's say you had a still image you wanted to show everybody on your live stream. You could cut to it and it would be full screen. If it had no transparency, if it was a lower thirds, then it would just appear like that and probably have a white background. Now, I also have it on an extreme. Up here, you can see I have key 1 and key 2 I can bring on and off the air. So that's just 2 of my keys, and I can bring those on the air. I can also cut to media player 1, media player 2. Well, let's say I wanted to go from Super Source, which I'm live on right now. That's what you're seeing. And I wanted to cut to, let's go to media player 2 because that's this background. It's going to cover everything, right? So I hit auto transition, and now I'm going to disappear, and you're only going to see the background because I'm cutting to media player 2, which that background is installed in. So there you go. You're only seeing the background. I could turn off that logo if I wanted to as well. Now I'm going to transition back. So I can cut to either one of these. I can transition to my logo as well. And it's a big white transparent box with a logo at the bottom. So you can get to them on the front of your device by cutting to them as an input for your controller. So whatever you have plugged in to those 2 boxes is going to show up. So again, these are the 2 items that I have available. So if I transition to the first one, I get the logo. If I transition to the other one, I get the background. And then again, under the switcher settings, I could turn the logo off and then just show you the background. And then I could cut to media player 1 and just show you the logo. So I have access on the front of my device to some control, access to the media player, but not as much as I have if I use the control software. So the control software, either from the switcher page up here under media player, gives you access. Down here on the bottom, the media player gives you access. I can access my hard drive. I can access each of these files, drag and drop them over and make them live. And obviously they're going to show up if I have them live, and they're both live right now. So if I had them not live, let's just go to me and a logo. And if I was to show you just the control software, which is in number 5 on my laptop, and turn my logo off, the logo goes away. And now I can drag these in to that media player 1, and they're not going to change anything on the screen because you can see that one's not live and this one isn't live. But if I was to make it live in my key, there it is on the screen because I've loaded it right here. It's also got transparency, so you are only seeing the actual device, and you're not seeing anything above it, below it, or on the sides of it because it's transparent. Just like this logo is transparent, but it's set up to be on the lower thirds, so that's all you get. So back to me, back to my logo being on, and that's a look at the control software. Now, the other thing I wanted to show you is, let's go back to a 2-box before we go here, and let me go into my laptop. So where do you find these files if you're on a PC? Like that. And then you go to your PC, you're going to go to your documents. Under documents, you have this folder that is called ATEM Autosave. Double click on that. You get 8 of these folders. These are recent uses of your ATEM, and it makes a folder and makes these files. So if I click on this first one, you get all of these XML logos. If you don't have the big view on, the still image view, you just have a list on. They look like this, .xml. Then if you double click on the ATEM media pool and you have the still image on, you get a picture of all the graphics you've been using in that session, or you get a list in that session. So if you want to find a graphic that you used a few weeks ago, you could go to a folder from a few weeks ago. This was done back on 12/19/2023. And then I could go in here and find all the graphics that I used during that show or that season. And if I click on them, then they get really large, and I can make that bigger by dragging with my mouse this line between this still image, little still image, and the big one. So there you can see my animated stuff from my live stream. These are different still images that I've made in live streams I've done over the last few weeks. Those are still images. Here's a shot of me and Rat. So I could go back and find old still images from those folders, and I also could bring those into my ATEM. So let's just do that right now. Yeah, let's go me and this picture. Let me go right here. I'm going to go up to my C drive. I'm going to go down here to user. I'm going to click in, let's see, my user profile. So under documents, let me open that window. I want to go to ATEM Mini Auto Save. I'm going to click down on that. Let's go all the way back to that that day. It was what, 12/26. Let's click on right here. Let's click on the media pool folder, and there are those still images that I used that day. So let's say I want this one. I want to bring it into my show. I was able to go in, because I know where that folder is, and find these still images from a while back. And that is another great way to use the media pool and the saving files on your laptop. So that's it for this deep dive into the media player and Extreme, as well as a regular ATEM Mini, Mini Pro, Mini Pro ISO. And it really doesn't matter if it's the STI models or the ISO or the regular Pro models. They're all going to have the same style media player with the same amount of graphics and the same access to files on your computer. So thank you for being a part of this video. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, hit the like button if it really helps you. Put comments below if there's another video you would like to see. If there's a question you might possibly have about the media player, please let me know. Again, I will see you in the next video right here. Thanks for tuning in.